Hi, in today's video I'm going to show you how I created this card using a free font bundle from fontbundles.net. This is not a sponsored video. I wasn't asked to do anything with this. It just dropped into my email as the free weekly font, and I just thought it was a fun idea and make a good children's card. So if you stick with me, I'm going to show you how I made the frame and positioned everything and printed everything using Inkscape. And I'll show you how to assemble the card. The only thing I forgot to do was put the frame through the machine to write the greeting on, so I've added that separately. This is a basic shape from within the ScanNCut machine, and I used one of the fonts that's in the machine to write the word raw with a black pen, and I've shown you how to write with the ScanNCut previously. If you go to my YouTube channel and on the playlist, go to the font playlist, you'll find videos showing how to use the pen tool. So I hope you like the project. I've added some dash lines by hand. Again, you could add those with the machine, but I just wanted to do a little bit of hand drawing on this. And then I've put an insert in it, so when you open the card up, you've got the insert. Okay, to get the font to make the card that I've just shown you, you need to come to the Fontbundle's website, which you can see is here. Let me just say, this is not a sponsored video. This is just a card I made using their free download of the week. I'm recording this video on Friday evening, and it will go live on my channel on Tuesday the 18th of July. This font is only available for 1 week, so you need to go to this website and download it onto your computer if you want to make this card at some point in the future. So the first thing you need to do when you're on this home page of this website is go to Design Products, Free Designs, and then you should be able to scroll down and find the Dinosaur font, and it says it's free. If you're watching this video at some point later, then this font probably won't be free anymore. So you need to select this font. I'm already logged into my account, and then you need to click download, and this will drop into your downloads folder or somewhere on your computer that you will know where to find it. I've already got it. Now I've already got it saved on my computer, and I'll just open it. So this is the folder that you will get with these two documents and a folder inside. Double click on the folder and you will then see all the images. Now there are PNG images in here, but there's an SVG file as well. You can use either. I'm just going to use the PNG images for now, and as I go through the tutorial I'll tell you which number I chose. So I've got Inkscape open, and I've got my page set to 12 by 12, and if you don't know how to do that, look for this icon here that looks like a piece of paper with a Y on it. Click it, and then down here you can either make it A4 or you may have to change the units. I think it's on pixels by default, 2 inches, and then make this 12 by 12. And just hit enter on your keyboard, and then you can close the grid down and you've got a 12 by 12 working area. So now I'm going to go to File, Import. I'm going to navigate to my folder where that font bundle file is, and the first one I want is number 2. So I'm going to select Open. Just going to leave everything here as it is and say OK. Then I'm going to go back and import, and I want number 5. And then I'm going to do the same for the remaining 2 images. So number 6 and number 19. So now I've got the 4 images on my page. I'm just going to drag them out of the way for now. So the next thing I want to do is come over here to the square icon and select it, and I'm going to drag out a rectangle and let go. Now I don't want the fill on, so I'm going to come down here to where it says fill, and I'm going to right click and remove fill. Then I'm just going to hit the select icon to select this rectangle, and I'm going to change the size up here, and again you want to be in inches. I'm going to make it 5.5 inches wide and hit enter on my keyboard, and then I'm going to make it 4 inches high. Then I'm going to come back to this square icon and select it again, and I'm going to make another rectangle, and again once I've dragged it out I'm going to select it. Then this time in the width I'm going to make it 1.25 and hit enter, and height I'm going to make it 1.75 and hit enter. And the reason I'm doing this in Inkscape is because I've got more flexibility with aligning these windows up. Now before I do anything with this rectangle selected, I'm going to hit the second icon down, which is this node editing icon, and I'm going to grab this circle and just pull it down ever so slightly, and then select the select tool again. I'm going to remove the fill, right click and remove the fill, and I'm just going to zoom in. Because I want to round the corners. So I've just dragged the circle down a little bit to round the corners. Now I'm going to zoom back out to fit to my mat and select it, and just make sure it's still the same size, 1.25 by 1.75. And while it's selected, I'm going to right click and hit duplicate and then do that twice. So now I have 3 rectangles all on top of each other with rounded corners. So I'm going to drag them apart. I want to line this up roughly in the middle of my card, and then I just want to select the rectangles. So with one selected, I'm holding the shift key down and I'm going to select the other 2. So I've just got those 3 selected. I'm going to come up here to the align icon. I'm going to align them all along the top, and then I'm going to come down here where it says distribute, and I'm going to hit distribute centers equidistantly horizontal, and the one directly underneath, which is distribute centers equidistantly vertical, and that should put them all aligned by the top with a distance apart. Now I'm going to just left click anywhere on the page to deselect. This doesn't look as though it's the right height. This one's too big for some reason. So I need to make it 1.75. I don't know what's happened there. Just checking they're all the same size. Yeah, so I'm just going to select them again. So select the first one, hold the shift key, select the second and select the third. Align them all by the top and then align them all equidistantly centered on the horizontal and vertical. That looks better now. Now I'm going to select everything. Well, I'm going to select the rectangle and the rounded rectangles, and I'm going to go to Path, Object to Path, and Path Exclusion. And basically that's punched those rectangles out of that bigger rectangle. Now I can close that down to give me some room. This one I'm just going to put down here out of the way for now. And then I'm just going to get my other dinosaurs. Now the first thing I want to do with this green one is flip it horizontally so it faces the other way. And then I'm going to position it roughly in this rectangle and I'm going to size it down until it fits. I just want the heads of the dinosaurs really. So that's my first one. Then I'm going to size this one down and again drag it over, position it in the second rectangle and drag it down until it looks as though it's going to fit in the window. And I'm not bothered about if any of this gets cut off because I think I quite like it just with his head showing. Then I'm going to get this one, size this one down and do the same. Put this one in here. Don't worry that this blue body part's in the way because that's going to get cut off in a little while. If you can't see properly, raise it to the top and it will bring it forward over this blue part here. And that I think looks probably about right. Might just size it down a little bit. And then this one, ignore all these body parts here because they're not going to be there. We want to position this one until we're happy with how we think it's going to look on the card. And once we're happy with the size, just undo that. Got the wrong one. I'm going to bring this down here. Now, I'm going to select this and I'm going to create a copy. So you can either right click and copy and then go to File, New and Edit, Paste. And then this I'm going to save. So File, Save As. I'm going to put it on my desktop for now and I'm going to call it Frame. .svg and I'm putting it on my desktop so I know where it is. Then I can close that down. Now I can get, oh no, sorry. Now I'm going to get another rectangle or square, choose the rectangle and square icon and I'm going to drag a rectangle out so it's just bigger than these three rounded rectangles here. Now I'm going to remove the fill so I can see it. And I want it to fit inside this base card, but so it's just bigger than these rectangles. And that looks about right. It doesn't matter that it's got rounded corners. You can select it and drag the circle back up to make it a square. Now I'm going to get rid of the base card And this is what we're going to send to print, and then I'll show you how to cut it with the ScanNCut. Now, you may want to, unless you've got a 12 by 12 printer, you may want to go back and edit the page size and make it A4 and then close the box down, because this is what you're going to print and you want to make sure that it prints on your printer. So I'm going to drag an imaginary box around the 3 dinosaurs and that rectangle, not the red dinosaur at the bottom. I'm going to go to Object and Group. So they're now a group, and I'm just going to position them up here on my paper. And then this one I'm going to leave down here. And then from here with this one now, you can save this as an SVG file. And you can also print it directly from here. So if you go to File, Save As, this time just call this one images.svg, and again you can put it on the desktop if you want. And then you will go to File, Print, and your print properties for your printer should show up. So all as you need to do then is make sure you're in regular A4 paper and send it to your printer. Once you've printed it, I'll show you what to do with it at the ScanNCut and how to make it all line up. But what we also need to do is cut the frame. Now you've got the SVG frame that you made. You can either put that on a stick and cut it in your ScanNCut, or you can open ScanNCut Canvas, open a new blank document, click on the SVG icon, navigate to where you've saved your frame, mine's on my desktop, and open it, and there's your frame. And then you can save it in Canvas if you want, give it a name here, and then download it. And you can either download it either directly to the machine via Wi-Fi, which is this icon here, or you can download it to your PC, or just right click and download link file as and put it on a USB stick, however you want to save it. Once you've saved your frame and you've printed out your images from Inkscape, I will show you what to do with them on the ScanNCut canvas. Okay, so I've printed out my A4 sheet with my designs on, and I've loaded it onto my mat to save some time. The first thing I'm going to do is go into my ScanNCut machine and go to Pattern, and I'm going to go to the Wi-Fi icon up here because I've sent the frame that we made in Inkscape over to my machine wirelessly, but you retrieve yours however you get yours. But for now I'm just going to go to the Wi-Fi and it should come through. There it is, there's my frame. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save it straight away just into the machine, just so I know I've got it for now. Once it's saved, I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to go back to the home button and say OK to delete all patterns. So the first thing we're going to do now is cut out this design, and this box that we put in Inkscape is our guide for where we're going to put now our cutting line for our ScanNCut machine to cut it out. So I'm going to load the mat into the machine, and I want to do a background scan, not a scan from this screen. So I'm going to say pattern, and I'm going to come to the basic patterns, and I'm going to choose a rectangle. And I think my rectangle needs to be just less than 2 inches high and maybe just less than 5 inches wide. I'm going to unlock the aspect ratio, and I'm going to take the height down to 2 inches. just for now. Can always adjust it again in a few minutes. And I'm going to make the width just less than 5. I'm going to make it probably about 4.75. Say set, and I'm just going to move that out of the way to the bottom for now. Then I'm going to come to the background scan and I'm going to say OK and send this through. Now I can see the design and this black line we've put in here in Inkscape. I'm going to drag the rectangle up so it fits inside this black outline that we've printed. I'm going to come into the editing icon and into the zoom, and I'm going to zoom to 400% and just scroll up and just position it so it's inside. I can actually make it a little bit wider, so I'm going to say OK, come back to the adjusting icons, unlock the aspect ratio and take the width up a little bit bigger and say OK, and then come back to zoom, back to 400, and then just make sure that that fits just inside this printed black frame, and then I'm going to say OK. Now the next thing I'm going to do, because I want to cut this, I'm going to cut the frame at the same time. So I'm going to say OK, add. I'm going to go back to save data, go to the machine and go to the last page because that's where I've just put the frame. And then I'm going to say OK and drag this window frame just to the bottom of the card so I can cut the window frame and cut this out at the same time. And now I'm going to say OK and cut. Okay, now I could unload the mat here, but I'm not going to because I just now want to cut this red dinosaur that's on its own. So I'm going to say OK, I'm going to click the home button, OK to delete all patterns. Now this time I'm going to go to scan and direct cut, and it's on the machine, so I'm going to say go. So now that's scanned, I'm going to drag the red handles in just to isolate this red dinosaur on its own, and I'm going to say OK and wait for it to recognise. It looks as though it's got it all OK, so I'm going to say OK, and I want to add a little 1 milli border, so I'm just going to click the plus once to 0.04, which is about 1 milli, and say OK, OK, and cut. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to say OK and I'm going to unload the mat. So I'm going to peel the card away, and the reason that I did a background scan and positioned a rectangle within this black box is because if I'd have sent this through as a normal scan, either direct cut or scan to cut data, the scanner would pick up all these other lines as well, and I don't want them, I just want the heads. So that's the reason I've done it that way, just in case you were wondering. So that's my scrap. There's my printout that I've now cut as a rectangle. Here's my frame, and here is my other dinosaur. So this is going to get assembled now like this. This is going to line up on top of there, but I'm going to put foam, 3D foam on here to raise it up a little bit. And then that's going to sit on there, and then I'm going to assemble the card. Okay, so I've got a piece of A4 card which I've cut in half, and I've scored this and folded and burnished it. And I've got, because this is, I like to put an insert inside all my cards, whether it's a shape card or a plain card, but because this is black, especially, unless you want to write with a silver pen or something like that. So again, I've cut a piece of A4 paper in half, and then I've just taken off probably just about 1/4 of an inch on 2 sides. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on there, line this up inside the card, and then just close it down so that when the card opens, that will open the insert for me. Now I'm going to turn the frame over, and I'm going to apply some 3D foam, and I'm just going to cut these down into thinner strips just to fit within this frame. And then for the rest of it, I can just use the foam pads as they are. May have to cut a couple down just for the corners, or cut one in half. And then I'll show you how quick and easy this project comes together. Just going to have to trim that down. And these scissors that I'm using are my old scissors, so that it doesn't matter if they get all gluey and gunky. I'm not going to ruin some good scissors. So I'm just going to peel the backing off all this foam tape. Obviously, because I'm lifting the rest of this piece of paper up off the front of the card, but I want it to stick to our printout as well. So that's why I've positioned it there. So now I'm just going to put this down flat and line this up so it sits just over. I'm not going to press too hard because I don't want to stick it to my desk, but hopefully you can see now it's slightly raised, and that's the reason why we made this rectangle in Inkscape over our images. And I'm going to stick that on there. So I've stuck that on the front of the card. Then I've got my other little dinosaur that I'm just going to add another foam pad to. I have to cut a small one again just for on his head. And then put that there. And then you can put a stamped greeting or something here, or if you want to write a word, you could have put this back through the machine before you stuck it to the card. So I hope you found that helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.